Greetings, it's me, Dr. D-Ray. When you think Southwest Virginia, you need to think mountains. Southwest Virginia is in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains. Don't call them Appalachian. Whenever anyone moves here, myself included, there's always a great deal of hesitation about if you're going to fit in to this culture. The truth is, Southwest Virginia is not greatly different from Alabama, where I grew up. Culture and commerce are all very similar. But there's a lot more snow. One of the things I love about our house is its location. The house is located on a crescent ridge around the town where we live. The front of the house faces toward town, and our backyard slopes steeply down toward the woods. The woods in our backyard are not your average run-of-the-mill city dweller woods either. They encompass hundreds of acres. Even though the house is on a hill and there's a clear-cut slope, which is our backyard, and the trees are at the bottom of that slope, the trees tower over our two-story house. It's never hard to imagine the reality of the wilderness that's all around us. But what's so striking is the delicate balance between civilization and wilderness when you're living on the edge. A few weeks ago, I was headed out the door to my car, and I stepped down out of our door onto a step and then onto our carport. And I noticed that something was weird. I had stepped on what I thought was maybe a cord or some such on our step. And as I wheeled around to figure out what kind of apparatus I had left on the step by accident, I saw there, to my horror, the flapping tail of a snake trying to find its way under the stairs and escape. Lucky for me, the snake was as disturbed by our interaction as I was, and lucky for it, it had a head start. This summer has been incredibly wet and rainy, not to mention temperate. Rainiest summer in living memory. The copious amounts of rain have been great for flora and fauna alike. Cutting grass. Not to mention the bugs. The bugs have been crazy. Be careful setting down your drink. The ants might just carry it off. Look at this guy. When I rounded the corner and I saw him in the corner of my eye, I thought, scarab! Those things tried to kill Brendan Fraser! It's literally the biggest beetle I've ever seen. That is my finger touching the same piece of wood that bug is on. The little orange piece at the bottom, it's molting! It actually got bigger! Check out these things. They're not much for size, but they shimmer in the light. And you know, if you're gonna go around being iridescent, you gotta be bad. What's more, judging by the activity that's captured here, it seems there's going to be more of them. Not everybody chooses to live so audaciously. Who flicked this booger onto my building? Oh my gosh, it's a moth! This moth is doing its best zebra impression. And it's not just bugs either. This guy was hiding in my backyard under the grass. I never would have seen him if I hadn't been weed eating. And after I cut the blades of grass off of him, he looked at me like, "Excuse me, do you have a problem?" This is a creature that's common to the area, known locally as a groundhog. It's the largest rat I've ever personally laid eyes on. And it's a little bit shocking how at home he's making himself. This is the first place I've lived where you could walk in your backyard and find this kind of nature. It's pretty amazing, but it's also a little terrifying. Because the thing about nature is, it doesn't care. It doesn't care that there's a house here. It doesn't care that we have a mortgage. It doesn't care that we're trying to keep it out. My wife said to me the other day that she felt bad about spraying a long column of ants who had come in to consume leftover cake on our dining room table. She said she imagines that the ants and the humans are in a war, and that she's massacred a lot of ant soldiers, and all the little ant wives are at home wondering if their ant husbands are ever going to make it back. I told her, there's only one ant wife, and she said, "I know, shut up." The natural resources of this region and many other regions in the United States like it are the backbone of the economy here. One of the reasons why it's great to live here is because Mother Nature is showing off literally in your backyard. The great struggle for this century, inherited from the last, is to balance man's need to harness and change and to some degree consume nature with our need for nature to stay the same. I know I'm blessed because it's the greatest thing in the world to look out our back window onto a snow-transformed wilderness, when snow has transformed the wilderness into a ghostly apparition of itself, and feel very, very small.